Sony has officially put a nail in the coffin for all physical disc games, guys. If you're the type of gamer who loves building a physical library for your shelf, you might want to sit down to watch this entire video. So it is RIP time for disc games starting January 2028. As a person who's been very passionate about many things, which I've tried my best to cover on YouTube, I was recently on my laptop and this was the news that I got to hear that Sony is finally taking a call on stopping physical discs from January of 2008, and I was absolutely numb and didn't know how I had to react. So I actually thought, where is the world headed, right? Because when it comes to cars, the direction that the government is pointing is towards ethanol blends in the fuel, push towards EVs, and now Sony has given us a direction that in the next 2 years or 1.5 years per se, games will be released only through digital codes or through the PS Store. So where is the world headed, guys? I mean, this definitely, according to me, is not futuristic or doesn't look like this is the future, right? Unfortunately, yes, I do understand trends, but anyway, the fact of the matter is I'm a person who's been gaming for over 16 years now, and the deepest memory of me having so many games on my PlayStation is or were through these discs, because you have a beautiful cover art. You're able to trade these games among your friends. These were some of the memories that I can definitely relate to when it came to my childhood. And up until even now, obviously, even on the PS5, the advantage of having these disc games is you can trade with your friends, right? Which means if I buy, say, Ghost of Yoti and my friend has Crimson Desert, whenever we're done, we can just trade and play. But looks like that's not where things are headed post the next 1.5 years. Which means each and every single person has to own the game somehow or the other, and trading is not a possibility at all. The most recent thing that I came across personally was the fact that First Light on PS5 actually was costing a lot more, by almost 3,500 odd, if I had to buy a physical disc, compared to 4,000 rupees in the PS Store. But this is not a discounted rate. I do firmly believe that due to the war happening around the world, it was quite natural that the import duties became a lot more higher. Sony did not give, Sony Global rather did not give Sony India the permission to be printing these games within India, which made it even more difficult for Sony India to actually hand over these games at the cost that they were actually were. So it got a little too challenging, and me personally, I really love, like I said, I'm a sucker for disc games, because why not, right? At the end of the day, it's a collection, and I'd love to show it to my friends when they're over. But unfortunately, with almost a 3,500 rupee gap for the standard edition on First Light, it was not convincing enough for me to spend that kind of money on a very small game, guys. So I did go ahead and pick it up on PlayStation Store, and I did realize that the deluxe edition was just about 1,600 rupees more. Although I've not upgraded, but even then the overall cost was just about 5,600 rupees versus 7,500 for the standard. For one, super sad and for real that Sony is actually pulling the plug on disc games. So many memories that are attached to it, like I said in the beginning, and I don't know where this is headed. Having only a digital version without being given a choice of disc, or even if you do pick up a disc game, it's just going to be a digital code. So it doesn't make too much sense. If you ask me, you'd rather buy the actual thing on the PS Store, because like I said, the First Light example that I gave you guys, I'm dead sure that if things don't get better, this is exactly how the future is going to look. So I do understand that PlayStation Store does offer you discounts on very regular basis, and that gives a huge advantage on exactly the fact that you can build a very good collection for yourself. But at the same time, if you need to trade games, there is no way that that's possible going forward. The initial news, however, that I read was that this is a decision that Sony is taken for games that are coming through Sony's side, in the sense Sony Studio, whatever they call it, Sony Entertainment, or Sony Interactive Games for that matter. But you never know how the future is headed. Like I said, I really hope that Sony does give options to, game engines like Naughty Dog, Rockstar, Insomnia, all of these guys, to be able to just give them a choice, guys. I think at the end of the day, still, people would love to stand in queues for a midnight launch. These are such beautiful memories that I have from the Uncharted series, from The Last of Us Part 1, Part 2, where, there was such beautiful times about 10 years ago and 9 years ago, where we would line up in a queue right from 11 p.m., knowing that 12 a.m. would be distributed a copy of the most recent launch of whichever game it was. So I don't think that's going to be something that any of us are going to ever, live through. So let's see what it looks like. Sony is claiming that over the last couple of years, the trend on the PS Store for purchasing games has increased a lot more compared to players picking up disc editions. Well, it is fair to say the pre-orders are a lot more easier on the PS Store of late, right? You have so many people out there who want to pick up games, and I mean, I'm no different at the end of the day. So I don't really blame anyone who really wants to pick up the disc edition or the digital edition. But at the end of the day, given a choice, like how PS5 was launched with both the disc and the digital edition, is so convenient for someone to make. Pulling the plug on the entire thing makes it so difficult for gamers like us, because I really feel, one, it's going to be long gone memories, like I said. Two, there's no more trading that's going to happen among your friends, again, like I said. And three, the hardest part is the fact that you may land up actually paying a lot more just to get a digital version of the game, which I really hope that does not happen. As a lot of you know, Rockstar is launching GTA 6 this year, which is finalized on the 19th of November 2026. But again, this would be a similar launch without the disc, and that is sad, guys. I mean, even if people had to pay 10,000 rupees, again 3,000 rupees more than what's listed on the store for the Ultimate Edition, I'm dead sure that people would have done it for GTA 6, pardon me. It's also because the wait has been for 12 years. It's bonkers. And the kind of trailers that are coming out, I'm 150% sure that people would have lined up in queues for days together, even if they had to get a hands on their copy. So, Sony said that the move came as a consumer preference, and the broader entertainment industry continued to shift away from physical discs to digital. I strongly beg to differ. I'm sure they would have done their own analysis for sure, but I understand the DVD and the VCD era is all gone, but when it comes to PS5 games, people are still longing for those CDs with the album cover and the album art, because they are absolute collectibles. For example, I still have the Red Dead Redemption 2 Ultimate Edition, which was a steelbook with a lot of cool stuff that I got through a friend of mine at Rockstar, which was a PS4 one. And I'm not willing to give that away, even though I sold my PS4 Pro, a couple of years ago. But it also says this is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends, as the general preferences for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. I mean, okay, what even? But it's a huge concern for game conservation and massive problem for gamers with low disposable incomes who rely on part exchanging or loaning games from friends to keep up with AAA price tags. Exactly, guys. I mean, it is crazy. Again, it's a good debate to have. It's not really feasible for many people to actually sit down and pick up a game for $6,000, but a couple of months in, a CD would cost probably 1/4 of that. It would just cost 2,000, 2,500, and that makes it a lot more approachable. And games online do not have massive discounts up until a particular time, from what I see. Like, for example, the Ghost of Yote is still not on complete discount, maybe 10% at the max. But I don't know why Sony's taken this wild decision, but I don't know. I just thought I should just make a quick video on actually telling how I feel about this. And if you guys really want to have a conversation on this, please do drop your thoughts on the comments below. And I'd be more than happy to have a debate to understand what you guys think. And at the same time, please do subscribe to this channel. I'll be more than happy to hear whatever, thoughts you have to voice out. And at the same time, do share this among your friends. And let's all pray together that Sony actually reverses this decision, especially when it comes to other game engines, if not for Sony themselves. I will see you soon on another one, and until then, take it easy, guys. Cheers.